but I think they still captured it. So let me. Shayna, I need to focus on this right now, okay? Sorry, we may have experienced some technical difficulties, so I'm going to give this another go. Perhaps the computer wasn't functioning right before, so I'll give this another go. Anyways, hi, I'm Jamie. Good afternoon. And today I want to talk about modals and their usefulness on the TOEFL exam. These can be really useful helping words. And today I'm going to try to demonstrate 4 different categories of modals. And I'll try to show you where these can be most useful in specific TOEFL questions. So the first category I want to talk about are polite suggestions. And the modal most appropriate in this situation is the modal could. So when I think about TOEFL speaking question number 5, one of the demands of that task is to summarize the 2 possible solutions discussed in the conversation. So if I think about the scenario where a man has a roommate who has moved out of their apartment, and the man relied on his roommate for transportation to and from campus, I might hear 2 possible solutions that sound like this, and I could use the modal could to make polite suggestions as to what the man's options are. So for example, the man is really in hot water. His roommate moved out of their apartment and he relied on his roommate for transportation to and from campus. So the man and the woman discuss this issue and they come up with 2 possible solutions. For one thing, the man could ride a bus to campus, but he would need to transfer several times. On the other hand, he could move back to the dormitory, but he might miss the freedom of his own apartment. So notice how I use the modal could to convey these polite suggestions, the man's options. Another category of advice is the use, another category of modals is the use of modals to give advice. And the modal most appropriate for giving advice is should. So if we continue to think about that situation in task number 5 that I just explained, another demand of the task is that we have to state which of those 2 solutions we think is better and why. And I actually did an earlier live stream where I explained that I personally think that sentence in your response is a really critical sentence. And I always encourage students to try to make an effort to give an interesting reason why. Don't simply repeat something that you've already heard discussed in the conversation. Try to bring in your own vocabulary or your own idea. So if I'm going to use the modal should to give advice, I may say something like that, like this. If I had to deal with this sticky situation, I definitely think the man should move back to the dormitory because dorms are the center of campus life. And in the dorms, he'll have the most opportunities to mingle with other classmates and experience college to the fullest. So another category of modals that I want to describe today is the idea of obligation. And the modals most appropriate or related to obligation are must and has to, or possibly have to. So when I think about obligation, it makes me think about speaking task number 3, where we generally read an announcement that is a university administrative decision. So in this situation, there's usually a new policy in place that the students must fulfill. So I might think about the modal must or has to. For example, according to the announcement, Students must study a foreign language in order to graduate. Okay, so I've captured that obligation. They must study a foreign language. So maybe in my response, I might also later say the man has to study a foreign language, but he simply can't decide between Russian and Spanish. So must, has to, or even have to convey obligation. The last category that I want to mention today is the idea about possibility or speculation. And the modals that are most useful here include may, might, or could. So let's think about the academic lectures in questions number 4 and 6. So for example, in a lecture in like a botany class, we often hear lectures about plants or animals on TOEFL. We might hear a sentence like this: if the rainfall is low, it might impact the plant's growth. Okay, it might impact, that's a possibility or speculation. Or maybe a sentence from a business class might say, if sales are slow, employees may be fired. So today I hope you captured some of the usefulness of modals, in particular modals that can make polite suggestions, advice, obligation, and possibility and speculation. And I would love to work with you further on this topic and more. So check out our website and see all the great services we offer. So have a great day. Thanks and bye.